So let's start off with day one from Tuska Open Air Festival. And the gates were open until 1 o'clock, and we arrived there some past 1 o'clock. So I went into the accreditation because I had to get my wristband for the festival, and also this little card that said from where I was, and they checked the card when I went to the backstage area every time. So the first performance in Tuska Open Air were Baron Earth and the Arson Project, and I didn't really get to see them because I was in the backstage area doing the accreditation and then seeing where things are and so on. So this was that, and after that on the main stage was Testament, and I really didn't get the chance to see them as much as I heard. It seemed to be a good show, but I didn't really see much of it because I was in the backstage area and trying to find the woman that I had previously written to about an interview with Swallow the Sun. And when I finally got hold of her, she said that the main man behind Swallow the Sun, Juha Raivio, is quite busy and she doesn't know if I could get an interview from him. But as I wanted the personal favor from Swallow the Sun members, then I saw Juha walking around there and just kind of approached him and said that who I am and what I wanted and so on. And at first I thought that maybe he says no, or he's kind of like famous people are in a way, but it turned out that he was very, very friendly. And also it turned out that the interviewer that should have been there to interview them wasn't there, and so I got her time, and I had an interview with the Swallow the Sun's Juha Raivio and the bassist Matti Honkonen, and they were both really friendly and really open about their stuff, and to my surprise they had even seen one of my videos, so it was like yay. And then I went to the festival area, back to the festival area, because there were some artists I wanted to see. For example, Tarot was playing there, and Tarot, those of you who don't know, Tarot is the foundation stone of Finnish metal, heavy metal, and the main men in this band are Marko Hietala and Sakari Hietala. So I went to see them play. They were really good, but they were performing with a choir from Marko's, where Marko had been part of this Finnish TV show called Battle of the Choirs, and he had his choir with him on the stage. And it seemed to me that they would have been better without that choir, but they still had a good show. So afterwards we rushed off to the Swallow the Sun gig, which was awesome. And then of course came Satyricon. I had been waiting for it so long because I know that Satyricon has played in Estonia, but I haven't had the chance to see them live. And I finally saw Satyricon live, and they were really, really awesome, and I really liked their gig. And then there were Ihtsanen or Obituary, but I didn't really see them because the day had been quite long and I didn't have a chance to eat. And so we went on a food break, so to speak, and didn't see those bands. And the last band of the day was Devin Townsend with his Siltoid project. So it was interesting. I had heard so much about it, and all the people were saying like it's really good, it's worth seeing. And when I saw it, yes, I saw that they played really well. It was an interesting and different project, but I must admit it wasn't my cup of tea, so to speak. So not something I would normally go to see, but it all comes down to taste. So and this is how the first day of the festival ended. So for the second day of Tuska started off with Blake on the main stage, and I really didn't know anything about Blake, and I just went there and saw them, and it turned out that they were a really good band, and I really enjoyed their performance, and I can honestly say that I found a new band to listen to. So I think that festivals are good for finding new bands to listen to, because sometimes you don't know who this band is, who is playing, but you just go there, listen to it, and sometimes it turns out it's actually a really good band. So that's why I also like festivals so much, because you can discover easily new bands. After Blake there was Soda Jumala and Torture Killer on the side stages, and we went for Soda Jumala, and they played really well again. And afterwards it was Hypocrisy, but I just saw one or two songs, because on that day I had an interview with Satyricon Satyr. So I went to the backstage area, and I was standing there waiting for the woman who had arranged the interview, and I was looking around and I saw all these musicians that I looked up to and all these people on the backstage area, and I was like, oh god, where the hell I have mixed myself into because it seemed that they are like these famous singers and artists and bands, and I'm like this nobody who does this news and I got really nervous that because Satyricon is a famous band, so. But when I finally met up with Satyr, he was really friendly, and he was a really interesting person, and it was great that I got an interview from him. And when I wanted to take a picture with him after the interview, Frost also came up, so I got an interview with Satyr and with Frost, so that was cool. And then I went back, and then on the main stage was Devin Townsend with his project, and I must say that I like the Devin Townsend project a bit more than the Siltoid project, and although still not very much my cup of tea, but I like Devin Townsend project more. Then came on the side stages Survivor, Syria and Arm for Apocalypse, but we really didn't see them because it was so hot in that festival area, and we just went into the shade to rest from the sun a bit, and to have some drinks and some food and so on, because later on there was Camelot playing and we wanted to say Camelot. So then came Camelot. Camelot was really good, and I really enjoyed them. And then afterwards there were Overkill and Bloodbath, and but as we were quite close to getting a sunstroke or something like it, so we went in the shade, and as we were staying in the shade we heard Overkill play. We really didn't see them, but we heard them, and as much as I heard from it, they were also good. And the last of the second day was Nevermore, and Nevermore was an interesting discovery for me, and I also enjoyed their performance.